Well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I am Watsu-K99. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'm getting a feeling here as a Jets fan inside of me right now, and it's a strange one. As a Jets fan since the late 1980s, this is not a feeling I'm very used to. And the feeling I have is this. This Sunday against the Miami Dolphins, the Jets will score at least 30 points. Now, you might say, now Watsu-K, how can you say that? The Jets have never scored 30 points with Zach Wilson as their quarterback. He's never even thrown for 300 yards in a game. He's got a 5-10 career record. All of that is true, but I believe this offense is just starting to click now, and I think against Miami, who is a good team, they are in position to score a lot of points, and I got a couple of reasons why. So, number one, let's take a look at the Miami front seven. Their most fearsome pass rusher is Jalen Phillips. Phillips is having kind of what we'll call a Carl Lawson kind of year. He's got a 27% pass rush win rate. It's pretty good. He's tied for fourth in the NFL behind a couple of guys named, Von Miller, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett. He's tied with the Trey Hendrickson and Joey Bosa. Nick Bosa, not Joey, pardon me. But he only has one sack. He's not getting his hits on the quarterback, so he's creating some disruptions, but he's not creating the impact plays. And outside of Phillips, the pass rush for Miami is lacking, especially from the defensive line. So Miami, give you a number, has 7 sacks this year. Only one of them is by their defensive line. Melvin Ingram has 2 sacks, but Emmanuel Ogbah has been very quiet since getting his new contract. They could not pressure Joe Burrow this last Thursday night against Cincinnati, and we know the Jets had problems getting to Burrow as well. So maybe that Cincinnati offensive line is starting to figure it out. So with the Miami secondary, this is the part that gets me pretty excited. So their cornerback room is dealing with a rash of injuries. Byron Jones is yet to play his first game, despite just being eligible to return from injured reserve. But Xavier Howard is not expected to practice this week with a groin injury. He is right now expected to miss the game, last we've heard. That bears some watching. So there are unlike Pittsburgh, there's no Cam Suttons in this quarterback unit once you lose Howard and once you lose Jones. The Miami cornerbacks are the likes of Nick Needham, Kader Kohau, and Noah Igbenogany. It took me a couple times to pronounce that one. So with this Miami defense, they are going to be struggling mightily to cover all of the Jets' weapons, to cover Wilson, Moore, and Davis. And I think this might be a situation where Miami needs to drop a linebacker or two into coverage, which will limit their ability to blitz Wilson, and that might give Wilson the time he needs to find an open wide receiver. Now, I'll give the Miami secondary this. Javon Holland is a fantastic safety. If they put him on a tight end, if they put him on a Ty Conklin, Zach Wilson, don't go near Javon Holland. There is no reason to go at the heart of their secondary. But when you put all of this together, even though Miami has won 3 games, they have allowed 403 yards per game. They are allowing the other team to go down the field, and as the Jets are getting their mojo working, there's no reason they can't do the same. But the third thing I want to talk about is the continued progress of Zach Wilson. We saw it on Sunday as the Pittsburgh game went on. He got better and better. He looked more and more comfortable in the pocket. He seemed to be making smart decisions with the football, not running out of bounds 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, even on that razzle-dazzle play where Michael Carter threw the ball back to him for some razzle-dazzle and the ball wound up on the ground. Wilson managed to pick the ball up and get rid of it for an incomplete pass when it could have been a 10-yard loss, a 15-yard loss, or even worse, a turnover. So I really like where Zach's instincts are going. But you know what? We saw the Pittsburgh secondary try to take out a wide receiver. First they took out Garrett Wilson. Then they turned their attention to Elijah Moore. No matter what they did, the Jets were able to exploit that matchup. Zach was taking what the defense would give him. He didn't always do that in 2021. And I believe Zach is more than capable of doing the very same thing against this Miami Dolphin defense, especially if you have a little more continuity at O-line. Now, I don't expect Dwayne Brown to return this week, but for this week, you can leave Elijah Vera-Tucker at left tackle next to Laken Tomlinson at left guard. Speaking of a guy who needs a bounce-back game, Laken Tomlinson is chief among them. Center, you have Connor McGovern. I got to tell you, I liked what I saw from Nate Herbig on Sunday. He was really able to create some big holes for the run defense, some second level blocks that allowed Breece Hall to get some good yardage. And at right tackle, well, I know it's our pastime to knock Connor McDermott, and understandably so, but he really looked better at right tackle than he did at left tackle. That said, I would have to say, if Mike Remmers is ready to go, I would really consider him if he is ready for this game. So I believe when you factor all of this in, the Jets are very capable of putting a 30 spot on the board at MetLife Stadium. Tell me what you think. How do you feel about this offense going against the Miami defense? It's the side of the game that people aren't really talking about. People want to talk about Teddy Bridgewater and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Well, you know what? This is going to be the half of the game that might make the difference. And I think the Jets are capable of winning this battle and winning the game. Tell me what you think, and I'll talk to you with more content when I'm back from the Wicker Chair.